Brian Dhamer out of Genoa, Illinois.
And what is this truck?
It's a 1964 351 Peterbilt. And I've owned it about 5 years now, but friends of mine owned it prior to that. So I've been around it for probably about 20 something years now. So kind of knew where it came from, knew the history on it.
Did it become available or did you ask about buying it?
Yes. A little bit of a long story on that. Some excavator friends mine had this truck, came out of California originally. They brought it back, went through it. It's essentially pretty original, but it was a hay hauler out of California.
Oh.
And it was a truck and a pup. They brought it back. They painted it, changed a couple of things on it. I did a couple little things on it, but underneath the shiny paint, it's a pretty original 64. No power steering, no front brakes. It's 4x4 trans, twin stick. Interior's all original on it. I guess to get back to your other question, they had it for a while. They decided to sell it. My boss bought it. By default, I was kind of the caretaker for it, and I already have several other old trucks. So after a couple of years, even though I've owned it for about 5, I was kind of babysitter for it. And then a friend of mine did the same thing before that. Joe, he kind of took care of it. One day my boss said, he goes, "Do you want it?" He said, I'm not driving it. He goes, you take it everywhere. I said, yeah. So I ended up buying it from my boss.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but like you say, for about the last 25 plus years, I've been around it.
Excellent. And when your boss bought it, was it just a hobby truck also?
Pretty much. Yeah. He's got a couple of trucks that he doesn't really do anything with. I'm the one. He likes buying stuff, but then they just kind of sit. So,
and they have to run. I have learned, like, you have to run them or things go wrong.
It is amazing. It's almost worse to let them sit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, running them's better. It goes to shows during the summer, and with the step deck, I've put my B model Mac, and I have a 1964 B model, or my 97 Chevy will go up in the back. Today we went with the Tonka. That was quicker.
What year's that?
Tonka, that was mine. That's an original. That's probably about an 85-ish.
Now, it looks really heavy duty. Is that?
It's Hendrickson walking beam suspension on it. It's pretty stout. Like you say, this was actually, they cut the frame on it when they got it back. It was a flatbed. And so I'm assuming, you're carrying a lot of weight with the truck and puff on a California setup. It rides rough. That is one of the reasons for the trailer on. Keep me from bouncing around. If you get a load on it, and this trailer's air ride, it's actually not too bad. Once it's got some weight on it, it's livable. But bobtailing alone, it's bouncy.
Did you paint it? Did you have the boss?
The people that bought it are friends of the excavators. They painted it. Their company colors were similar to this, so that it's been painted now, I want to say, since the late 90s, early 2000s.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I assume then it definitely lives inside.
Yeah, it's pretty much spent, I would say, the last 30 years indoors.
What's the engine? I know you said transmission.
It's a 290 Cummins. Probably was not original to the truck. It probably maybe had a 230 or 250 in it. Probably died somewhere along the way. That's what it had when they got it, and when I had it.
These look pretty heavy duty. Is that also?
Yeah, that and the deck plate, they made those. Around Northern Illinois, that's pretty standard for a lot of the dump trucks. Okay. Run the diamond plate fenders like that.
Well, let's take a look inside. So I'm guessing that fan is your air conditioner on a day like today.
That is it.
Your windows here.
Windows down, fan on.
Was the interior redone?
No. I asked them how the interior was when they got it back, and he said only one panel was missing in the back there. They had somebody reproduce one. Other than that, it's pretty original.
Did it stay in California for its career, I assume?
Yeah, as far as I know, the guy was an owner operator, I think retired, or I'm not sure exactly, but the truck was parked. It went from California to Illinois, and as far as I know, unless there's some history in there that I'm missing, that's it. It's an aluminum frame truck as well. And thankfully, since it was out in California and not in the Rust Belt, it's a pretty clean truck. There's no rot on it or anything.
Those pedals aren't worn out either.
No.
That is a really tall accelerator there. It's like over a foot long.
Mm-hmm. The battery boxes wore, though. You can see where it's the diamond plates got worn over the years, guy getting in and out of it.
In the exact same spot.
Mm-hmm.
And down here.
Yep.
Is it a comfortable seat?
It's not bad. I have a B model Mac, and as far as comfort goes, this is much better than the B model. But it is not too bad. See, if you're bobtailing, sometimes you got to hold on to the sticks. If you hit a good enough bump, it'll throw it out of gear.
Are you a truck driver currently?
Oh yeah.
What is your daily driver?
389 Peterbilt. So just parked the 379, got into the 389, and I might go back to the 379. It depends on what the boss does here.
Well, both of them are more comfortable than
they ride a little better than this, yeah. And then I also personally have a 2000 379 flat top P that is sitting at home. Turns out I can only drive one at a time.
Yeah.
So this weekend the needle nose came out.
How did you get into old trucks?
I just grew up in trucking. Dad drives, still does. Been around it my whole life. Friends were in this hobby, and I just kind of gravitated to it.
Do you remember what the first truck was that you rode in?
Would have probably been one of my dad's, probably one of his black R model. He had a black RS Mac with a 36-inch bunk, and I'm guessing that was probably what I was in.
Is that what led you to get a Mac yourself eventually? Or?
Yeah. He had 3 Macs when I was a kid. He eventually switched over to Peterbilt, and I've had Pete's for almost 25 years now, and wherever I've worked, or I ran my own and just had all Pete's. But I like the old Macs. They're great history with them. I would like to get either a super liner or a value liner in the future someday, but one thing at a time.
So of the trucks that you have or get to drive currently, what's your favorite one?
Probably this one or my flat top, my 379. My work trucks they're pretty cool too. I bring those out to shows. Luckily enough, my boss is him and I get along pretty good on truck stuff. So I'm very fortunate with my company trucks and my personal stuff. This one gets a lot of looks. It's just nostalgic. But I will say my blue 2000 has a big cat in it, air ride, air conditioning. The creature comforts are much nicer than this one. This one has the look, but not the comfort.